I'm going to begin just by asking me, I don't remember this story when it happened at the time in the news. I was wondering, was it a big story in France? And I mean, just if you didn't know too much about it, when you sort of dug deep, it's an incredible, huge story, isn't it? I mean, it's so political as well.
So political, yeah, and it was, I don't remember the story at the time because I think I was like maybe not very concerned about the politic or, yeah. I was young at the time, but when I really discovered that story with the script, actually, and that's why also I like to make films. You know, it's to educate myself, and yeah, it's really amazing. It's a crazy, and I think it was like a very good idea from Thomas to make a film from it, because it's the subject for cinema is perfect, and it shows really like it's the perspective from those people, and it humanized. Do you say that? Humanized also the story, and we only because we only know it by, you know, the media, and the fact that here we have like, yeah, really we have the perspective from those people, and I think it was necessary.
Because I mean, I'm not just saying this to you because I'm sat here with you, but for me, this was really your story. I thought the story for me belonged to the families left behind. That was the most interesting part for this for me.
Yeah.
But that must have been a huge part of the appeal for you as well, because so often in these movies, it's always about the crew. It's always about the people in the courtrooms or in the submarines. But it's so nice and refreshing to have a movie that's about you for a change.
Yeah. You mean the wives and it's they also they represent also the anger, you know. They are like us spectator. It's crazy how they were left away and completely you know, they were people lied to them, and so this is also they express the anger and the frustration that of this whole thing. I mean, of this story. It's just so incredible. I think that we are still, even now, we feel so frustrated about it.
Because I was trying to think of another sort of vocation, another job similar to the Navy, and I mean, acting sort of came to mind. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not, obviously when actors go to a shoot, they expect to come home alive. There's not really a risk of death, so it's very different. But the idea of leaving your family for chunks at a time, I was wondering, everyone calls acting like a dream job, but is that still quite a difficult aspect of it? Because I guess every time you take on a movie, often you have to be away for 2 months, 3 months at a time in different parts of the world. It must be quite difficult because you're always away from friends and family. Is that the one downside to an otherwise wonderful job, would you say?
It's true that it's part of the job. You have to accept it. But I think it's also, for me, I mean, it's something that I like because I like to find myself in like far from my base, and I can also experience life, you know. I mean, it's something that is tough for sure, but I like it. And it helps me also to create, in a way.
And just finally, before I go, I mean, you got to have a couple of really big, powerful scenes, and one in particular with Max von Sydow, which was, I mean, he's like a real legend of cinema. What was that like to collaborate with him in that, particularly that moment when you're confronting him at the sort of press conference?
You know, it was very touching to have him in front of me, and he couldn't really remember his lines. So when I did the scene in in the but maybe it's not nice to say that. But it was another actor, and it was hard for him to focus. But it was extremely moving.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
To be like that angry in front of him, because I could see that he was like trying to, just remember his lines. But cinema is made also of this. It's moments like this, de grâce, grace. There is a human aspect also when you shoot films, like besides the shooting. You see what I mean? Like the life that goes with the shooting, and as we said just before, when you are like far from your family, but there is like, it's true that it's really like a family when you shoot a film. You are, it's so intense to be like also playing the character, but not only, like the life that you have around this can be also very intense, and it's something that I really enjoy, because I always felt, in my life a little bit, like a misfit in a way. So to be part of this family, it can be also very warm and chaleureux,
Thanks so much for your time.
Merci.
Thank you so much.
Merci.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey